Thank you. All right. I don't know if you can unmute yourself. Can you please unmute yourself, or is it not working your end? Good luck, technology goes.
There we go. I was being used by another program, so it was like tripping. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? What's up? What's up?
Is that Pratt on your couch?
What?
Was that Pratt on your couch?
Pratt?
Pratt.
Pyatt?
Hyatt.
Yeah, yeah.
Hyatt Pratt.
Yeah. Chris Pratt is an actor.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Recognized his face, and I was like, I know that guy.
Yep.
On the love sack.
Yep. It's we've been here just kind of working on like some designs for the trade house just for like merch and t-shirts and stuff. So he's been over here working.
Well, welcome everyone. We've got a couple of new people on the call tonight, which is amazing. I will introduce you guys all. Know Mike Miles, founder of Trade House, mentor of mine since day of the dawn, early 2016. We've been running these calls, which is always a highlight of my week. You know, Mike wakes up at 4, 5, 6 a.m. depending on daylight savings to run these calls with us, and this call is prefaced around inside the trader's mind. Okay, so it's not strategy related, even though most of us are smart money. It is all about the psychology of trading and why that is important, as you all know. Anyway, so Mike, how's your week been? Give us an update.
Oh, it was good. Just had my birthday, the big 30. So I kind of, I didn't do anything. We didn't do anything crazy. Just kind of went to dinner, and I don't know. I guess we're just trying to, or I guess you just try to hide it when you hit 30, I guess, even though I don't care. Like, the last 6 years of life have felt so, oh my God, it just feels like 20 years have passed, you know? People are like, man, time is flying. Like, I think back and I'm just like, man, so much just throughout these years. Thank you guys. I remember, working at Fuzzy's, which was like my last job. It's a taco shop. It's food. And that literally feels like 3 decades ago. It feels so long ago. And, but other than that, it was really good. Working on the slideshow, of course, because I'm going to be going to Chicago Thursday or Friday, one of the two, either Thursday or Friday for Mike and Tim.
Yeah.
So been working on that slideshow, and other than that, not very much.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, happy birthday. I know what it's like to hit 30. That was me last year.
You just kind of like, yeah, it's my birthday. Shh. Like nobody wants to celebrate birthdays after
lockdown, so it was kind of good anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, even though it's, again, like age is nothing. It's just, it was, but it was nice. Again, I didn't do too much. I mean, just went to a restaurant. That was we watched that UFC fight. I don't know if you guys like watch UFC, but I like watched like Conor McGregor like snap his ankle, and that was that kind of sucked. I watched that live, and I mean, whenever I watch somebody break a bone like that, and then you're looking at their foot and it's not the way it should be, it's like just makes me cringe.
It was gross. But let's get into it. So there's no real trading questions tonight, other than something we couldn't talk about last week just because of time. Okay, and this is a conversation that I really love having. We've talked about it quite a while ago, but it's around I guess worthiness of money, and where this comes in is more of like so the topic is capitalism, okay, and how we are in an industry where you can make as much or as little money as you want, essentially, based upon, it's results driven. Okay. And the topic came around a student who was feeling greedy being in an industry like this, and it was such a raw conversation. And I think it's one that we can all agree on to an extent of, like, if we've, something we always say is, you can't have, whatever income you're at is your ceiling, right? Like, however much you've ever made is kind of your cap, it's your ceiling. And, like, say, for example, like 50K, we're in an industry where, that can be weekly, monthly, right? And we can't really have those, 50K mindsets on these 6-7 figure goals, that there's no, that doesn't really correlate, so to speak. But where we want to go with this is essentially around, the school system. Okay, my God, I cannot talk. The school system teaches people to be employees. Okay, it teaches that students need to, go to school, get good grades, go to college to get a career in order to make good money, right? Get a good job, be an abiding member of society. Okay, and I didn't learn about assets and liabilities in school, or investing, or how to make money work for you, or how to be, a successful business owner, right? But the fact that we are here learning about that, having conversations like this, which is honestly one of the main purposes of Trade House, okay, to teach financial literacy, to have the conversations that were not taught, okay? But not being taught by parents, not being taught in school is no longer an excuse to be ignorant to that, because we do, we've got smartphones, guys. We are in the age of information, the age of technology, okay? So what if we taught the next generation to understand the rules of capitalism? Because I think, people just think, the rich are really, really, really greedy. Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, okay? What if we taught how to understand the game that's being played? What if we taught how to teach people how to become entrepreneurs, right? To create, to sell a product, to learn skill sets, to create a company, right? A corporation that hires others and gives people jobs, right? The education system is not giving students the right tools necessarily in order to thrive in a capitalistic society. Do we agree, or is that yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I think the education system is designed that way on purpose. And I think it was George Carlin. He says something along the lines of, governments don't want a population of, capable or critical thinkers, right? They want obedient workers, people just smart enough to run machines. They want people, how does it go? I forget the exact quote, but it's like, they want people dumb enough to passively accept their situation, something along those lines. And the system is still stuck in the industrial age mentality, where you go to school, you find a secure job. But the age, we're in the age of information now. We're in the age of technology, right? And the information age, which is where we're living now, this is a completely different formula is required, that you don't have to physically trade your time for money. And that's what I want to have this conversation about, because if, the conversation that we had with this student was along the lines of, she wants to make a big impact in the world. She wants to help her family. She wants to help charities. Like, she works with, what's the one on the ocean? Oh my God, mental blank.
The what on the ocean?
The charity with the ocean. Jason Walls would know if he's on this call. Sea Shepherd, correct. So she works on Sea Shepherd, right? And she wants to make a difference with that, but she's feeling like learning something like this, she's greedy and her values are being really challenged. So Mike, I want to extend it to you. Unfortunately, like, she's been wanting to talk about this for like 2 weeks. Unfortunately, she's not on tonight, so she's going to watch the recording. But how do you find, where would you lead with that in terms of, the society that we live in and using it to our advantage? So.
Yeah. Well, first, I didn't even learn about how to do taxes in school, much less like how to make money or any of that. Like, I mean, just like you said, the system is designed the way that it is on purpose, because the easiest way, at least I always bring this conversation, is that a world full of millionaires and entrepreneurs completely negates everything. It can't work the way that it is. Does anybody here know somebody who's been working at a career for 40 years? That is literally the ideology that we're taught. Even today, when I was in school, I graduated high school in 2009. So, even during that point, it was just about a career that needed to be had. I know that even when I was working at Domino's, forever ago, it feels like, I was hiring people with master's degrees. So even when I was working at Domino's, I was hiring bachelor's, associates, and master, never a doctorate, but I hired master's degrees and that were just delivering pizza. And they weren't, and it wasn't, they claimed it was temporary, but they were there almost the entire time I was there. I don't know what they're doing now. They could, very well be working at whatever it is that they went and got a master's degree for. The thing is that everybody has those. I mean, if everybody were to follow the same rules, everybody would have degrees. So it's like there is no degree of separation if everybody has an associate's or a bachelor's or a master's degree or anything. The system was designed that way because back in the day, in the 50s and 60s, maybe, I'm not so sure about Australia, but back in the 50s and the 60s in the States, that's when the interest rates and everything was so low. You could literally have one, like back then, of course, it was the man who had his career. The wife stayed home and raised the children, and they would have 3 houses, 4 cars, a boat, and just a bunch of stuff, because that was just the way life was lived back then. And it worked. That's the thing, is that it's not wrong by definition, because that promise was fulfilled for a couple of decades. Now, the problem is, though, is that all of that debt that was getting, accumulated during that is now here. And that's what our generation has to deal with. That was the way that the capitalistic world was set up on purpose. It's not like these people are idiots and set up the world and they just lost control of the wheel. And now we're just in, this massive, unbelievable situation. I refer you back to the movie called The Big Short. And for any of you guys who have seen the movie The Big Short, one of the things that you understand is that they deliberately crashed the housing market. They knew what they were doing. The movie The Big Short follows a handful of people that saw it coming, and it follows like a couple of different groups of people that again saw that this is obviously something that was going on, but the people that again caused it knew it was happening. It was the same thing back in the Great Depression. In 29, in the United States, at least, when the Great Depression happened and the stock market completely crashed, they did it on purpose because they bought up everything for like pennies on the dollar. They just swallowed up all of the, the media companies, all of the news sources, all of the production companies that made clothes and bullets and textbooks. And just literally everything. They just swallowed up everything. To form their conglomerates. Now, trading, now to finally get to what SJ was, really talking about. And again, trading, again, really testing your values. It's a good thing that it's testing your values, because you would rather have it be something like trading that tests your values as opposed to like, where empathy or philanthropy is really supposed to come from. Because if it wasn't going to be trading, it was going to be something else that inevitably would test values. Trading is something that, again, I've explained many, many times that it is another form of control that they provide, that they have, because the people that have created this problem have also created the markets that we trade. The thing is that so many people don't know how to trade and end up just getting their money taken from them. But on the other hand of the conversation, for the people that do know how to trade, greed is something that every single human being has, and you're capping if you say you don't. It is a baseline primitive emotion, just like love or hate or fear, greed, lust. These are all very baseline, base chakra, base level things. if you guys have two dogs, one dog will get jealous over the other, and then the other one gets greedy over the toy. Like there could be 17 toys on the ground. They're only fighting over one, and that's just, again, because it's a very primitive thing. It's a very animalistic thing. So having it be something that I guess in theory you could be scared of because it's potentially exposing you to you is a good thing. It's not something to be scared of because that's where you can learn to manage greed. Because that's the thing, you do not conquer greed just as much as you do not completely eliminate fear out of your life. You manage it. There's a difference. To think that you were just going to completely remove these emotions out of the human experience, in my opinion, is preposterous. There's no way. Now, when it comes to having empathy and the desire for philanthropy, of being able to, help charities or help other people, this is one of those things that not only you could learn how to do it for yourself, but you can give to others. That is one of the, first of all, the most powerful things, because there is no dog eat dog world when it comes to trading. If any of you guys make $100 million in trading, this has not somehow set me back in any way. You have not been promoted over me or have become my boss or any of that. All rising tides truly raise all ships in trading. So instead of you donating to the charity, what if you made enough money to just cure the problem? That's kind of more of the deeper conversation of trading, because this is something that I've always thought about. Imagine, and I know that this is kind of a little, crazy scenario here, but let's just say everybody on this call, we were unbelievably successful, financially speaking, through trading. And we all were jumping on this Zoom call right here. And it was like, yo, what world problem do we want to end today? And if we all put up, $50 million each, because, $50 million is abundant. We'll just make that tomorrow in the markets. That's the kind of conversation I'm talking about here. 50 million times all of us here, we could just end a problem and nobody would feel it financially. That is unheard of. That is what goes against capitalism, because the entire purpose as to why even charities exist is for profit. The pink ribbon, for example, you have, cancer, for breast cancer for women. That's a scam. They do not march for a cure. The cure would get rid of the pink ribbon. It completely goes against it. They don't want it cured because cancer, for example, is an industry. It makes money. And not just a little bit, by the way. There is doctors, nurses, the equipment, the people who build the equipment. It is an industry that goes to so many different fields all over the world. So imagine just that right there, eliminating cancer. Do you guys understand truly what would happen? It would cause some chaos because of how many people, again, have dedicated their entire lives to producing cures for it, or the doctors that are just playing along and profiting off of all of the pharmaceuticals, and then having, somebody start on one pill and then a couple of years later they're on 40. That's because, again, it's a money producing machine for people. I'm not saying every charity, by the way, and I mean, because there's conversations that we could have about this or that, but again, what if you could, they don't need charity? What if we just stepped in? You see what, that's the power of what I'm talking about. That is a threat to capitalism. That's a threat to the world we live in. And I know that this is a much bigger conversation. And guys, if you have something that you either want to say into the chat, or maybe again, we can have a conversation about it. We did have this a little bit, whatever it is, a month or however long ago it was, but a society without money, a world without the monetary system. A world without the monetary system looks crazy. I definitely know, because we are so attached to the idea of, well, who gets the Lamborghini and who gets the Toyota? And I promise you, again, there's ways that we could, as a collective, come together and work out a solution that does not involve money. The entire imbalance of rich and poor is literally the only reason why capitalism can operate. The conversation that we're having here goes against that. I don't want that imbalance of rich versus poor. That's what financial literacy is about. Financial literacy is a threat. Us learning how to make money, and then not only us learning how to make money, but then being able to, expose that to other people, and then they learn how to do it. Regardless if you guys are frustrated right now because you haven't seen those results, or maybe trading is frustrating you, or whatever is frustrating you. It is absolutely, first of all, I mean, I'm not trying to mitigate any frustration or anything, but the fact that you are frustrated about it is a lot better than being complacent, working 50 hours a week, doing nothing else. The frustration is the challenge. The frustration and the pain and the doubt and all of that is a part of the entire process. As sucky as it is, because trust me, I'm not exempt from it. No one is exempt from it. And we will always be going through it because that's the path of life that we are all choosing to take. And it's just a part of it because, again, what's easier? Go apply for a job, get an interview, then get the job, and then just be told what to do. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, right? How much easier was life back then? Again, when I was working at Fuzzy's, it was the easiest thing in the world. It was literally just drifting. The same thing every single day. Nothing ever changed in my life. I'm not kidding you. 6 days a week, same conversation, same people, pouring margaritas, chicken or beef tacos, and then sweeping and mopping the floor and closing up and just repeating the process the next day. That's it. And the thing is that absolutely terrifies me now because I'm exposed to what life truly has to offer. We were not born to pay bills, guys. We were not born to make money to pay rent. Those are ideas that other people have created. So the elimination of money is the conversation that we inherently have here. And the only reason why, again, charities need to exist is because there is the entire concept of money. How many people are going to starve today, right now? How many people are literally sleeping out on nothing? They're just sleeping wherever they just happen to be right now. And why is that happening? It's because of money, right? Is there any other reason? We do not profit, or they don't profit off of feeding the world every day. They do not profit about giving electricity. I was having this conversation with somebody in the car with me the other day about the wires that go down the sides of streets. Do y'all know why those are there? Do you know why power lines exist? It's because back in the day when Tesla discovered that we could transfer energy wirelessly, guess what that was a threat to? Copper. The copper industry, because copper is a conductor. And then that's how they transfer from, energy or electricity from one place to the other, which means it can be metered, which means that people have to pay for it, which means if they don't, they get their electricity cut off. So they have to go work in order to make this thing called money so that then they can pay the electric company to keep their electricity on. Because if they don't eat. It's that simple. That is the game that has been set up. But guys, we don't need the power lines down the sides of the street or in the ground. That is, again, another thing. And if you don't believe me, Nikola Tesla, if you do not know who Nikola Tesla is, you need to write that name down and you just need to go look up to him, because Thomas Edison did not discover electricity, contrary to popular belief. Edison is not the father of electricity. He was a part of the club and they gave the credit to him because it was Tesla that figured it out. And they knew that. And it's, again, I was doing a similar job, Mike. It was driving me crazy every day. Same action, same questions, same problems. It was insane. There has to be, and there is. And that's exactly what happened. Same questions, same conversation, same negative, just whining, complaining behavior from the same people about the same things every single day. Everybody here knows what I'm talking about. It is insanity. And we broke out of it. But again, it is so easy to fall back into that because it was so easy to do that. What isn't easy is what we do here. It is the hardest way of making easy money. But the idea that, trading could be malicious against me because my greed is exposing, no. Because if you run away from it in that regard, then greeds or any kind of those human emotions are just going to pop back up in other aspects of life, because you haven't fixed anything. All you're doing is running from it. So the beautiful thing about trading is, again, it exposes that, because that behavior is not just in trading. It's just being presented to you in trading. You will have greed everywhere. Have you guys, I wasn't raised with siblings, but I was raised with friends. You know, how many, like, when you were kids, like, your parents would be like, share. And you just be like, oh, I don't want to share, and that's greed. I didn't have siblings, but I had friends. I never mind sharing, but I knew that even my friends had siblings as well. And they would have to share the computer or a video game or toys or the bicycle or this or that or whatever. And they hated it. Why? Because, again, it's a very, very, very normal thing. But as adults, we have to realize that, again, it is something that has to be managed and not dealt with. If you do not deal with it, then all it's going to do is just become a deeper problem later.
So I want to ask you, because I don't even think I know the answer to this in all these years. What is your reason for trading?
Well, I mean, the initial reason or now?
Now.
I see that, aside from, well, I mean, the easiest answer, I guess, isn't capitalism the best solution? Instead of, yeah, but see, no, capitalism isn't the best solution, and neither is bartering. Again, the conversation with a moneyless society, no kind of monetary system around it, would be, there's plenty of conversations around societies that don't use money. The easiest way would be favor-based. The easiest way to answer that question is, okay, who gets the Lamborghini and who gets the Toyota? The person who gets the Lamborghini is the person that provides the most to the collective. Everybody has food. Everybody has the electricity. Everybody has the ideas to be able to live, or not the ideas, the essentials, essentially. Energy, a house, all those kinds of things. The people that, again, are the ones that get the Lamborghinis are the ones that provide to the collective, meaning you don't have to. But again, if you want to live on the beach, or you want to live in an amazing place, or, again, drive something like a Lamborghini or, a super, super nice car, then it comes down to the value that you provide to the collective. What does that mean? Maybe you learned how to be a nurse. Maybe you know architecture and know how to build buildings. Maybe you know maintenance on machines. Maybe, whatever, providing value, because there's nothing making you having to provide value to the collective, because, again, you can just live. There's no problem with that. But, again, if you want more, you must do more, instead of a bartering system of, I need to. Isn't that kind of what we have now? Most value equals better jobs? No, because doctors, I would say, and surgeons are some of the most important people in the world, but they are absolutely nowhere near closest to them to anywhere near the highest paid people. There's a 8-year-old on YouTube that made $22 million on YouTube last year. I guarantee you, so there's surgeons that didn't even break probably maybe even $1 million last year, on top of anything else. That's the way that they want us to believe. That, again, the people that have the most critical and important jobs, like someone like a neurosurgeon, they're not paid as much as, people really, really think. And that's a problem, because if somebody is a neurosurgeon and, again, can save lives and does that and actively is helping people, they should deserve to live, on the beach and drive a nice car, right? As opposed to somebody that doesn't do any of that because they have no desire to do so. Now, again, there's way more that goes into that answer. That was me giving a very, very nasty oversimplification of that, because I've listened to plenty of debates of people that with PhDs and people, again, who have been studying societies. There are societies in the world right now that do not use money. and they study them and they see how it works and they understand the systems that they use. And again, how, value is attributed to different people. And again, based off of what they do for the higher collective. Do they help build roads? Do they, grow food for the community? Do they, teach the other children? Do they, or teach children, all of that kind of stuff? There is, a whole other commerce. And it's not like, again, I'm not opposed to having it. I'm just saying that there is absolutely a world without money, because it doesn't need money. And that kind of, I guess, leads me to what SJ was talking about. Why do I do what I do? Why trading? Is because where else can you go to make $5 the same way you go to make $500,000? Where else can that be done? Well, literally on, and if you do not understand what I mean when I say that, then you got to let me know. But this is the way I always talk about trading. The same thing you do to make fun.
Explain it, because there's a couple of new people in here.
Okay, so the same action that you do to make $5, so 50 pips in the market on a 0.01, catching 50 pips is $5. If you had taken that same trade and instead of it being on a 0.01, it was a 0.1, that would have been a $50 trade. So again, the same move that you did to make $5, if the decimal point had been moved over 1 point, that would have been $50. If the decimal point would be moved over one more time, then that's a standard lot, which is $10 per point, which is $500, and so on and so on and so on. There is no cap. That is not, I'm not saying that you can't make more money or something in other places, like maybe a YouTube channel, maybe a Twitch channel, or, drop shipping or CPS or a million different ways you can make money online. But with trading specifically, you don't need a following. You don't need anything other than the skills. So in my opinion, it's one of the easiest ways to learn, to endeavor through the idea of making something very, very small to it then getting down to a point to where you scale to something higher. Because again, imagine if you learned how to make $5 over and over and over and over, the same way of making $5 over and over and over. That again could potentially have been $50 over and over and over, or 500 over and over, or 50,000 over and over, or 5 million over and over and over. Not as an income claim. I'm saying that is systematically, literally how trading works with lot sizes. That's what happens. That gets kind of deep, because then the combo changes to what is one thing valued over another. Like a YouTube star providing comedy or peace of mind might be more valued over someone that cleans up streets, essential workers. And that's absolutely true. And that's where, not a democracy, not even a hierarchy for that matter, but I guess you could consider it a hierarchy if you wanted to, but officials maybe at the community base, like, city by city by city, that then goes to a higher hierarchy, if that is even something that needed to happen, because it doesn't. There is, and you're definitely not interrupting. Again, this is the entire point, is the conversation. And by the way, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. Let me explain why. That's the entire transition of information. That is the point. And a society without money is exactly why why I trade and why I teach people how to trade. Because in my opinion, trading is one of the best ways to break money. And how do we break money? And this is the other thing. And it kind of goes back to, how could we have a world without money? Well, let's just assume everybody learns how to trade and everybody's a millionaire through trading. It will break the entire monetary system, guys. It cannot work. It cannot work. If everybody understands how to make money, there's no way that the system can work without not having any money, because if everybody has it, then there is nobody to accept $5 or $10 an hour or anything per hour, as opposed to the people running those companies. And that's the problem with capitalism. I'm so sorry. Hold on one second.
Got any question, guys? Bump them in. If you are brand new to a call like this, they're not always centered around this type of stuff. It is often trading related. But just while Mike's gone, given that most of you are in Australia, one of the reasons that I got involved in trading was because of retirement. Wasn't even like even though I had. Oh, you go, Mike. I was waffling on about something, but you go. You finish what you were saying.
I was just saying that even what we do here in principle, even network marketing, it doesn't matter if you guys are like building the business or not, just the concept of network marketing breaks the entire system that we know. Because if everybody was, again, at a high rank in the company, what would happen? And it's the same thing again with if everybody understands how to make money, who's going to go to work? If everybody learned how to trade, and let's say you were one of them, of course, and everybody you knew was one of them, but you're like, man, I'm hungry. What store are you going to go get food? Because why would anybody be working at that store? If everybody has money and you eliminate the necessity of money, the entire world will fall into chaos for a bit. Because what will rappers talk about? If everybody's got money, then can you imagine like how ridiculous like rap music would sound? And I'm only saying that because it's typically rap music that specifically points to the desire of money. If everybody has money, then them talking about the desire for more money seems redundant. It's because, again, the entire concept around money is built on debt. If we're right now, the United States is $28 trillion in debt, right? What if we were 28 trillion in profit? Who would care? No one would care. Because we could be 280 trillion in profit. Who would care? Money is comprised off of the idea that there isn't enough. So if we end that problem, it ends cancer. Cancer only exists because of money and control. People that do not have energy, the people that will starve today, are only going to starve today because of money. Not because they need more money. And that's something I think I should probably make clear. The people who create money do not need more money. They need our belief that there isn't enough, that there's never going to be enough. That's what they need, because that's how they control the world, guys. They control the world, yes, through the energy systems and through education and through politics and pharmaceuticals and history and theology and religion and the public education systems and music and Hollywood and books and sports and entertainment in general, and through the internet and how everything, I could just break each and every single one of those down. But the point is that it's about domination. It is about control. They do not, and I think that gets lost on a lot of people because they think that they want our money. They don't, they literally own the printing machines. It was funny, SJ said it a little bit ago, Jeff Bezos is not the wealthiest person in the world, not by a damn sight. Now, everybody, of course, in the world thinks he is the richest person. Who is the richest people in the world? Why is it that the people who own the energy industry, for example, why don't they ever come up when it comes to the top 10 wealthiest people? Do y'all know how much the energy industry alone produces? How about the cancer industry? Do you guys truly understand how much money gets made through that? But again, why is it that nobody ever talks about Chevron or Exxon or Shell or any of the, of the oil-based companies or, again, the electric companies? It's never brought up. Again, we all think Amazon is the strongest company. No, it's the strongest company in the S&P. It is nowhere near the strongest company at all. What is Jeff Bezos' net worth right now? Here, let me just share my screen.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Like
tell me when you do.
Trillion or some shit. Billion? I don't know. Wouldn't be trillion. Imagine that.
No, it's like 175 billion.
So wanting more is not essentially a bad thing, is it, Mike?
No, not at all. Because again, wanting more is how we break the game. Because you have to understand, guys, look, his net worth is 212 billion. How much money was made in the energy industry, according to the total investment in the U.S. energy sector was valued at $350 billion, the second largest in the world. That same year, total foreign direct investment in the U.S. industry reached $172 billion. Who owns that? Who owns this money? Where does this come from? Why is no one talking? Everybody wants to talk about 212 billion. Who owns this? Who owns ExxonMobil? The S&P energy sector is now worth $700 billion. What are we talking about? Do you see what I'm saying? It's crazy. But no, just like, coming back to what SJ was saying, no, the desire for more money is not something, again, we need that because that's the only way to break the game. If you want to really change the world, guys, it isn't look, when I first discovered money and realized how evil it is, not money itself, but the entire concept and the beliefs around money, what did I want to do? I wanted to give up, sell everything I own, move to Tibet, and meditate upside down on my head 14 hours a day. How is that going to change the world? I could have done that 7 years ago. You're not going to change the world that way. Why? Because if you want to change the world, you have to play the game the world plays. Because you cannot beat the game if you do not participate in the game. And that's something that I truly had to learn to understand. Because I wanted to give up. But again, imagine if all of us had an abundance of money and then we just ended a world problem. Just boom. Have you guys seen Thrive 2 yet? If you haven't, watch it. Because you know what happens in Thrive 2? If you guys haven't seen Thrive 1, you damn sure better have seen that already. But in Thrive 2, they did it. And it's all on camera. They literally produced electricity. It was a huge machine, but it could power a city. And it wasn't plugged into anything. It wasn't using solar. It wasn't doing any of that. And you know who did it? Like a 17-year-old kid in Africa. And his life is being threatened. They are after him. The governments are coming after him. Why? Because what he did and what he has is a threat. So imagine, just for a second, if that person got on a Zoom call and we're like, okay, guess what? Each of us drop 10 million right now. We'll fly him in on a private jet and we'll put him underground if we need to. And we'll give him all of the money and the resources to mass produce those machines and just give them away. Don't charge anybody for anything. Just give it out. What do you guys think would happen? It would change everything. They would come after us. Because guys, I'm not dying in a bed. That's the mission statement that we're talking about here. The people that change the world are the ones that go against the narratives that they have in place. And what is those narratives in place? Money. And so again, imagine, and how does that get done, guys? It's not just, needing to be convinced that it's okay to chase more money. You have to understand that you need it in order to change the game. You cannot change the game and not have any money. Everybody in this world is only obsessed with making money. It's insanity to me, of course, but I used to be, for a very short amount of time in my life, I used to be one of them that just used to be so driven about money. But now I understand that my drive and my sense and purpose for money is different. How many people do you guys know that are only chasing more money because they want a Lamborghini? Because they want to travel the world and wear nice clothes and, live wherever they want and do all of those things. That should be a standard, not something to reach for as a dream. My dream is not only being able to, of course, do all of that, but it's again, being able to change everybody's lives to be able to do the same. Because right now, guys, there are billions of people that do not know what you know. There are millions of people that are starving. that are eating wood and dirt right now. Right now. There is slavery in the world right now. In 2021, July 13th, 2021, there are slaves in the world. What the hell are we doing? That's how far this goes for me. Because again, if everybody learns how to make money, guys, that's the only way that this world is going to change. This conversation isn't about just, blasting into your guys' ears. This company isn't about just making money off of you. This company should be legitimately about learning a skill set. The way I explained it 2 weeks ago for all of you guys that were here. And if you weren't here, or 3 weeks ago, or however long ago, SJ, you should have the recording. All of you guys need to watch that recording, because I just break down how simple it is trading. That it's not as difficult or as complicated as people, tend to try to make it. It is the simplest thing in the world, because it's the same action over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's it. Nothing changes except for the math. The moment that is understood, what the human being then realizes is that there's no real true obstacle. The path is visible. What I'm doing here is what I will be doing there for a much bigger amount of money. Because again, what will stop you guys from increasing your lot sizes? You learn how to catch $5 on a 0.01 over and over and over and over and over and over. Imagine, just for the sake of conversation, 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years down the road when you're on 1,000 lots. Risk management, 1,000 lots. $10,000 per pip. Risk management, 10,000 lots. That's what, and again, what can stop you from doing that? Honestly. And that's why I say that the path is clear. There's no I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I really want to do it, and I know it's going to happen. And so, no, it is extremely obvious. You know what you were doing here in mastering the art. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then SJ, I talk about this all the time. But we had a session this, couple, I don't remember, a couple weeks ago or something. But nonetheless, we had the conversation about making that path clear, because then I finally ask all of the human beings that are willing to listen, what is stopping you? What the hell is stopping you? It's not me. It's not SJ. It's not, the pairs that you're deciding to trade. It's, for example, greed. Greed stops us. Fear stops it. Doubt stops it. In fact, euphoria, happiness, and the overexertion of either way on the emotional spectrum can stop the things that you want happening in trading. So again, by learning that lesson in trading, you learn that money is you do not go after more money, guys. Money is truly like oxygen. You attract it. It's like you're standing on the side of a current of abundance of money and claiming that you're in a drought, when you're literally standing right on the side of an abundance of money, because that's literally what the markets are, guys. What is going to stop you from going from a 0.01 to literally 1,000.00 or 10,000? Do you guys know how much the lot sizes they trade on? Million lot trades. Where it's $100 million per pip. It's crazy to even consider that, I know. But if we continue on this, on this course with the trade house, and this is what we all do, and even again, guys, even if not only you have not made money out of the company or made money out of trading, in fact, all this has done is cost you money. All you've done is lose money being here. Good. Because what's the price of not doing this? That's the way I see it. If you can understand that, again, even though you have not made a dime, in fact, all it has done is taken money from you. Imagine not knowing about this. Do you guys understand? Again, I say this all the time, people. People would sacrifice body parts to be on this Zoom call. Because, again, there's people today that will die because of no food. And that is the reality. People will die because they do not have warmth or dry clothes. It is that serious. It is that bad out there. And we've got to change that. So again, imagine complaining and trying to justify to ourselves that trading, and this isn't a shot at anybody, of course. I'm just, again, generally speaking, imagine us complaining about how hard this is when imagine you don't know anything about this and that the potential of even making money off of your phone is possible, and that the only thing that you were worried about doing is finding your meal because you haven't eaten in 4 days. That is a massive perspective, should be a massive perspective change, because that is the reality. Because there is nothing stopping you from making money in trading. You are now, and so it's even worse. Imagine knowing about this, but then still not doing it. It's not like, so ignorance isn't even an excuse anymore, because none of you guys are ignorant of the truth, of this truth. And what is the truth? What the hell is stopping you from making money in trading? Do you really think it's the strategy? What was the thing that made you click and stop doing the same mistakes in the market and becomes this blowing accounts, watching 3 months of work go away in a night? Did you have an episode in particular that made you breathe? Yeah, I absolutely did. When I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing, and then one series of bad decisions lost everything. Imagine losing 3 months of work in a night. That's what happened. That's true. And I wasn't upset, or I mean, I was upset. I wasn't mad at the markets. That was one of the first times in my life I genuinely ran out of excuses. It was me. It was me. It wasn't the broker. It wasn't the trading strategy. It wasn't anything. I built that account up, and then I chose to step away from the discipline that got me to the point to where I could develop an ego of, look at how good I am. Look at my trading results over these last 3 months. I'm literally the god of trading. I'm the CEO of Forex. So I'm just going to start over leveraging and all-inning on everything because look how good I am. So I literally confirmed this arrogance through the discipline of what I was doing. It created a reality of where that arrogance could exist. I did that, made a series of bad decisions, and lost everything. I then, potentially one of the first times in my life, realized it was me. It was never anything that I had ever done before. It wasn't any business that I had tried. It was me. I was the problem. That was the clicking moment. I ran out. It was no longer passing the buck. It was no longer giving that away to anybody else. I had to own it. So I was, yes, upset and very, very, I was distraught for a little bit, but then honestly came clarity and and then it gave me a lot of confidence because I knew exactly what went wrong. You know what that means? I know exactly what not to do. That was a powerful thing because I knew exactly what caused the destruction of that account. And I decided I'm not going to do that again because I don't want to be in this situation again. Does that make sense?
So what would you say to someone who would say something like, I need to start seeing some consistency to continue this?
Then you're going to continue with that same thing in life until maybe, because it's not trading. You know what, people will open in a restaurant and be like, yo, if I'm not profiting by next month, then this whole restaurant was a mistake. You know how long it takes for restaurants to become profitable?
I know because I've had one.
Yeah, like it's not year 1. It's not year 2. It's usually not year 3. So by that logic, it's not just, well, I need to see results first in trading. Because again, that logic is not bound to trading. It's anything. I'm going to start a construction business. But if I do not have clients and immediately have the crew and all of the training that is necessary for them and this and this and this and this, then it's a scam and that I've just wasted all my time. No, because again, year 1, year 2, year 3 in typical businesses aren't profitable. In fact, they hemorrhage money. Right, SJ? Did you make money year 1? or did it cost you money?
It costed me money. Ask Jenna. Costed me in many tears.
Yeah. It's no different with anything else. Like, look at Google, look at Walmart, look at Amazon, go look at their stories on how long it took for them to finally scale. So my point is that it's not to mitigate the question of like it being specific to trading, because that is the ideology that has potentially brought you to trading, because you have tried to use that same logic in so many different things. And of course, none of that worked, because nothing gives instant gratification if it is actually going to be something that is going to be successful for you. Because you know what probably could? The lottery. That's really one of the only things. By hitting it in the lottery and saying, I need to see results immediately. Well, you could walk into a gas station. I don't know how the lottery works down there, but if you happen to pick the right 6 numbers and those happen to be called, you're a millionaire. That's the way at least it works out here. Other than that, instant gratification it is the problem. It always has been. So again, I need to see results first. Usually they're talking about, well, I need to make money first. How do you make money before you actually even, again, learn to understand how to trade? But you're not going to learn how to trade because you need to make money first. It is completely backwards. You need to learn how to trade, then money follows. You do not learn how to make money, then learn how to make money. That is completely ridiculous. So the entire ideology of I need to see results first, and then if they still didn't understand that, okay, throw $500 into an account and hit the blue or the red button, and maybe you'll be right. It's a 50-50. So maybe you'll just happen to hit the right button, triple the account. There you go. There's your quote unquote results. You see how ridiculous that sounds? Because everybody's done that, and it's never going to be consistent. Even again, if I grant you that you do exactly what, again, you hit the blue button and you quintuple the account, do not think for a second, there we go. Now it's time to go all in. Because if that's the thing that makes you go all in, then you're probably just setting yourself up for bigger catastrophic losses later, because that's what you're going to continue to expect, which is, again, not how trading should work. Well, trading doesn't work that way. Gambling does. If you gamble, that's what can happen. But of course, gambling is not consistent. You cannot build a career or a life off of that, because it will, one way or the other, you're not going to quintuple the account. You're going to lose everything in the account, one way or the other. So the idea of I need to learn how to, get the results first. Okay. By setting up the expectations right for people, because I don't talk about, guys, let's start making money immediately. The entire perspective needs to change on that. On that note, what about pro poker players do not just all in on everything. It's managed risk. Pro poker players do not do what idiots do when they just walk into a casino and just, up all in. Have you guys ever been to a casino or like at a blackjack table where somebody's literally just all inning on everything? I've seen it. I've done it. And yeah, I hit it once or twice, maybe even 3 times. But then on that 4th all in, lose everything. Because that's pro poker players understand risk management to the amount of money that they have sitting at their, with their chips. They understand that, again, with the risk that like if they're playing Hold'em, they understand if they have X, whatever cards that they have, what's the flop or what's the river, that they understand, okay, these people folded, however many people are on the table. And if they're, 1v1ing and they're going all in or trying to decide if they go all in, they understand that if the cards are suited on the table, if there's a straight or a flush, maybe even a real flush, they understand what card, what hand they have and what's the probability of what the other people potentially have of them also wanting to go all in, whether they're bluffing or, again, they have a hand that can beat theirs. So pro poker players are different than people that are just walking into casinos thinking that they're going to become rich, because that's what people do. People go to Las Vegas and think that their entire life problem is going to be solved by sitting at a poker table, when you guys have heard, the house always wins, because they do. That's the way the game is designed. You're not going to walk in there and pay off your entire mortgage, because if that was the case, Vegas would not exist. It would have gone bankrupt a long time ago. But to pro poker players, that's something that's completely different. So, pro versus noobs, best way to put it.
I think if you bring it back to the lottery as well, like if you want to, talk about like the moral high road or values or something like that. If someone was to win the lottery, you would first find out what their values are and what's important to them by asking them, what would you spend the money on when you win the lottery?
Yep. And how many millionaires, or I'm sorry, how many lottery winners go immediately bankrupt? The majority of them. The majority of them will get handed whatever amount of money, and a year or two later, not only is it all gone, they are filing for bankruptcy because they don't understand taxes. They didn't understand that they have to pay money on that money, and that they did nothing but, potentially pay off some debt, go straight to a Lamborghini dealership, go straight to buying a huge house, go straight to buying, just absolutely ridiculous. And then there goes all the money. So again, I need to see results first, is the perpetuation of that conversation. If I grant you everything that you think you want right now, do you think it's going to maintain itself? If I give you the reward without the punishment, you're not going to understand why you shouldn't be doing certain things. Therefore, even if you already have the reward, you're going to be punished just because, again, you don't understand the point of the frustration, the pain, and all of that, guys. That's why I said that earlier. It's a part of it. You have to learn what not to do in order to learn what to do. That's usually how human beings work. We have to figure out 1,000 ways not to do something in order to figure out how to do it. You don't figure out how to do it. We fail, then figure out how to do it, right? That's just the way we operate. So again, if you don't have to go through any of that because I just hand you $100 million, you're not going to, imagine having an 8-figure bank account with a 3-figure mindset. Mm-hmm. You've never had $1,000 in a bank account before, but then all of a sudden you have $100 million. A person literally does not know what to do. My brain tells me that I can't change this capitalistic system by being a part of it. Wouldn't I have to go against it? Well, again, you could certainly go against it and deplug or unplug from the system completely. How do you expect to change the people inside the system that are still plugged in? What is the proper mindset needed to get to the desired results? The proper mindset is discipline, the embracement of pain, the embracement of the challenge. And I know that sounds kind of cliched, but again, to see the desired results is to understand what not to do. Because again, if I hand you everything you want right now, could you maintain it? What the metaphor I usually always use for this, guys, is that whatever dream car it is, let's just say it was the Lamborghini Aventador, and it was your color, you're the leather, it looked really nice. You had the rims on it, this sounds amazing, and the keys are sitting in your kitchen counter right now, and that car's sitting in your garage or in your driveway. You go outside right now, you can go grab it, go touch those keys, and then you walk outside, and there it is. And you can push that little button on the remote and that sucker starts and you hear it. You can go sit and touch the steering wheel and all of that. If I just gave it to you, do you understand what would happen if you failed to change the oil in a Lamborghini Aventador one time? Do you guys think the Lamborghini Aventador would last if you failed to change the oil? Something stupid, right? Do you guys think that a Lamborghini Aventador, a $300,000 car, is designed to run off of the same oil? You fail to change the oil in that one time, you will destroy that V12 engine. Because the people that do have Lamborghini Aventadors don't need to be, told, make sure you change that oil, because they understand what will happen if you don't change the oil. Because how long will a Toyota run?
on the same oil change? How long will your guys' cars run right now on the same oil change? It will just go and go and go and go and go, right? Yeah. How many of you guys need to change the oil in your cars right now? Because you're 5,000 miles over your oil change. If that's true, and if that has ever happened to you before, and if that is, again, something that has ever happened to you, imagine if that was the dream car. You would have lost your dream car. Just like that. It could have completely destroyed the engine. It would have cost you, $300,000 to fix it. It could potentially cost more than the price of the car because they have to do so much to it and flush it out and all sorts of things. So again, even if I granted you exactly what you wanted, are you the version of yourself that is ready for the responsibility of having a $300,000 European sports car? Because if not, you're not going to have it very long. Do you know where to park it? Do you know where to go get maintenance done on a $300,000 car? Do you know how to drive one? Do you know when the oil needs to be changed with it? You guys see my point? And the car might be a little bit of a ridiculous example, but what about the house? What if I granted you your dream house? Do you understand how taxes work and the maintenance on the house and the things that you need to do in order to maintain the house? Or do you not know any of that because you've always been renting and the house is just the foundation is going to start cracking. The house is going to start shifting. You're going to start having cracks all over. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Just because, again, you could be presented with the reward immediately changes nothing. If you are not the version of yourself, and that was kind of your question again, how do you become the version of yourself? Is to endure the pain. Learn what not to do. Learn how to do this. Learn how to, change to, change the way that we approach those things. Because if you just understand that car example, guys, it applies to everything. If you've never had above 4 figures in a bank account, imagine what would happen if you all of a sudden got 8 figures in your bank account. Do you have the slightest idea what to do with that money? Do you know what tax bracket you're going to be put into? Do you know how to pay taxes on that money? Do you even know where to put that money? Again, it's just the continued conversation of having to learn those things, especially at the beginning of all of this. So when you do eventually scale to a 6, 7, maybe 8-figure bank account, you know exactly what to do because you have paid the price to get there. It wasn't just handed to you. You've earned it. And so since you've earned it, here's another easy example. And this may apply to everybody. Who had a bicycle growing up and it was given to them versus the person that had to work for their bicycle? The bicycle that was given to me, I won in a drawing at church, actually. I won it. I won a drawing. You know what happened to that bike? That was the bike that was always laid down on the ground, always had the mud, like once you lay the handlebars down, it digs into the dirt and stuff. And it was never taken care of because I didn't work for it. I didn't do anything for it. I just was given that bike. And then, of course, once that bike completely fell apart because I never took care of it, my parents were like, we're not buying you another one. Go work for it. So I had to go mow lawns all summer. And so once I finally did go get that bike, you know what little Mike was doing? Outside every weekend, washing it, polishing it, taking care of it, changing the chain, oiling the chain, doing all of these things. Why? Because I paid the price for that bicycle. It wasn't just handed to me. And that was a lesson I learned back then as a kid. I did not take care of the thing that was just given to me, but I damn sure took care of the thing that I had to work my ass off for. It was the same thing. It was a bicycle. But
a really funny analogy like that. Actually, it's a true, not an analogy. When I built my house, like, when your parents make you vacuum the house when you're younger, and it's just like a vacuum that you plug in with the cord, and then you just like go around the hallway and the vacuum's like banging on the walls in the corner, and you just don't give a shit when it's not your house, not your vacuum. And when I built my house and I had housemates, I went and bought a cordless vacuum because I'm like, fuck you if you mark my walls. Because I treated it completely different because I'm like, this is mine now. I have to look after it. But when it's not yours, you don't give a shit.
Facts. Everybody here knows we're all human. Every single person that is still listening, you guys know what I'm talking about. And it applies to everything, to your bank account, to the car you drive, to the clothes. You know, like, do you guys wash your whites with your darks? Don't cap. Who does? You know how bad that is for your clothes? You should never wash your whites with your darks.
I even chuck towels in. I'm naughty.
You see, yeah, even, oh my God. Oh my God. You see what I'm saying? And so you're consistently having to buy clothes over and over again. You guys wash your clothes. If you were to come to my house and do laundry and I saw my white shirts in there with my black clothes, I would throw a fit because it ruins white clothes. It ruins them. And again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if, again, you do not understand how laundry works and like how to maintain clothes, then your clothes will reflect who you are. Your car and how your car is maintained is a reflection of you. Your bedroom, your bank account, everything is a reflection of the discipline that you do or do not have. And how do you get discipline? You must endure pain. People don't go to the gym because they just love going to the gym. And if any of you Australians say that, you're capping, because it's literally, you're just going to a gym to pick heavy things up and put them back down over and over and over. But why? It's because of the purpose of a better body and the purpose of health. But the shit sucks. It's no one wants to go to a gym. And if you say that, you are maybe like Arnold or The Rock, because they just live in there. But for just the average person, nobody wants to do it, but they understand that they need to do it. So if you do have a six pack and you have, a objectively, or I guess subjectively nice looking body, and that you've worked hard for it, that's going to be a lot different from the person that you can tell that doesn't give a shit about their body. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So how do you get to the body you want? It's the same way of how do you get to the desired results that you want in training? How do you get to the desired body? Show up to the damn gym every day and do what you're supposed to do. Don't sit there and front around and just listen to music and, worry about what clothes you're wearing, drink a bunch of pre-workout, go do one thing, and then, I have to go do this and just leave and say, well, I went to the gym. Why do I not have a six pack? It was a scam. And then they'll blame like their supplements, like just completely removing all responsibility when it had nothing to do with any of that. They just weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you guys know, hopefully, metaphor after metaphor after metaphor, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I think that's really powerful. And what I want to end the call with is, if you don't, like, just the thing that's like singing to me right now is that if you don't have the results you want in any aspect, it's because you're not ready for it. Yeah.
Or you don't want it bad enough. Because if you wanted it bad enough, you'd figure it out. Mm-hmm. Guys, when I had a GameCube, before I got my Xbox, what does a kid do? Mom, Dad, will you buy me an Xbox? No. Well, no's not an answer. So scoured the house for change. Didn't have enough money to go buy the Xbox. That's not an answer. Grabbed Dad's lawnmower, went door to door to door to door to door until I made enough money in order to go get the Xbox, packed up my GameCube, all 70 games, and all of this stuff, got on my bicycle, rode up to GameStop myself, and got me my damn Xbox. Because no was never an answer I was willing to accept. Because the obstacles are inevitable, guys. You either don't understand how to do it, or you don't want it bad enough. So you need to understand, how bad do you guys really want this? Because it's not about, well, how do I get through it? It is about going through it, not getting through it, going through it. The pain. I wanted my Xbox. I had to get my ass out there and push that lawnmower to so many different streets. Because again, what the hell was going to stop me? I could have accepted, Mom, Dad, can I have an Xbox? No. I guess, and then just never gotten an Xbox. But instead, I chose the alternative. No is not an answer. Obstacles are inevitable. All I have to do is get around them to get to my desired result. Same thing here, guys. It is inevitable. You either, just like what SJ said, or you don't want it bad enough, and you have to be honest with yourself, or else you're lying to yourself, which is the worst thing. Sorry, SJ. Love you guys.
No, it was amazing. Yeah, like there's so many nuggets. I don't really have much to end the call on, but just literally that. Like, if you aren't where you want to be, you don't have the results. Christy, I'm glad you're on. You're actually the person who inspired this call. So you will get the replay. I'm glad you jumped on. But guys, like, this is why we do this. It's conversations like this. It's it's the hard conversations. It's sometimes not always what you want to hear. And that's the point of it. Because if we, as mentors and friends to you, don't tell you this stuff, who's going to? Okay, who's going to? And that's why we have this. So I appreciate you all. Long one tonight. Thank you for staying the course. And to everyone that is new on this call tonight, I hope you enjoyed it. The other couple of recordings will be up as well in the next couple of days. I've just got to edit a couple of them, but they'll be up. But Mike, thank you again. Next week, we'll swing it back to some more trading, mindset, psychology stuff. But I appreciate you all. Have an awesome week. Mike, thank you again for staying up for us.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Love
Awesome,
you guys.
Thanks again.